What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Your Requests. This is the segment on my channel where you guys request films for me to check out. And like I said before, I'm absolutely loving this. I think it's so cool that you guys want me to review movies and are excited to hear reviews specifically for movies that you enjoy or that you hate, that you just want to see me critique. Either way, I still have a lot of fun releasing these videos. And the movie that was requested today, I've actually had this on my watch list for quite some time now. I've just never got around to sitting down and watching it. And it stars Kyle Mooney, who has been in a variety of projects. And there's some things that I've really enjoyed him in previously. I was not a huge fan of his new film Y2K. Didn't really work for me. But regardless, I was looking forward to checking this out. And the film I'm going to be discussing with you today is Brigsby Bear. Brigsby Bear is directed by Dave McCary. Brigsby Bear Adventures is a children's television show produced for an audience of one, James. When the show abruptly ends, James's life changes forever, and he sets out to finish the story himself. So, I was really excited to watch this movie. Like I said, I really enjoy Kyle Mooney. I think he's very funny, and I thought the premise of this sounded incredibly interesting, and this movie was wonderful. I honestly really loved this a lot. I think it's incredibly emotionally moving, surprisingly. I expected this to be a much more overt comedy, and while there is comedy in this, I think the message at its core is incredibly beautiful, and I'm very excited to tell you about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to James, played by Kyle Mooney, who lives with his parents. His father is played by Mark Hamill, and they live seemingly in this underground bunker away from the rest of society. When James goes outside with his father, he has to wear a gas mask, and the only thing James knows is this show called Brigsby Bear, and he watches it every single day. There are hundreds of episodes, and he learns everything that he needs to know about life through this television show. And you can see that the chemistry between parents and child is really off at the beginning of the movie. And very shortly after the film starts, the police raid their house, and James is taken in by the police, and he is told that the family that he's been living with abducted him when he was a baby. And he has been living as a captive in this house for his entire life, and that his real family is very excited to finally meet him. And so he is put back in the custody of his real family, and the entirety of the film is James trying to live life when all he's ever known is his parents and Brigsby Bear. So like I said, I loved this movie, and there are a multitude of reasons as to why. For starters, I really enjoyed the performances in this, particularly Kyle Mooney. This has to be a really difficult performance to give because he's playing this adult man who has grown up in this house and has been essentially treated like a child his whole life. He's shown this children's television show, who we find out is made specifically by his father for him. No one else ever sees this show. And just the conflicting emotions, because it's Kyle Mooney. He's trying to be funny and over the top and silly in moments, but I do think he has more refined, dramatic, emotional moments. And it was really easy to hurt for that character in some moments where he's just like quoting the show or, doing something that people might seem off or odd. I found myself constantly hurting for this character, knowing that it's the only thing that they've ever known. And I really appreciated his performance for that a lot. And there's a star-studded cast in here. I really enjoyed Greg Kinnear when he showed up in this. He was really funny, like for the brief periods of time that he was in the movie. But there's a ton of actors and actresses in this that really give fantastic performances. It's also very well shot, and I like the different formats of video that we see in here, especially like the old, almost VHS recorded episodes of Brigsby Bear. It's really neat and interesting, and I really think the attention to detail and the visuals of the film make it very easy to watch. And I also very much liked the musical choices in the movie as well. I appreciated the way music was incorporated, and I felt like it helped carry the 90-minute film along relatively easily. But my favorite part of this movie is really what it's going for, because obviously, if you've seen promo for this, Kyle Mooney's character decides that, like, to kind of get through this and figure out how to live life on his own. He wants to continue making Brigsby Bear into a movie so that he can kind of provide himself some form of closure, since he knows he's never going to see another episode of that show again. And I think that it's so incredibly beautiful to make a movie that is about utilizing your art to live through trauma, because so many artists out there do that, right? They have art that they create in a way to live through horrible experiences. And what I thought was so fascinating in this particular case is Kyle Mooney's character. This art is associated with his trauma, but it's also his only solace from the trauma. And I thought that that was really interesting. Like, the show was his comfort in his most lonely moments. And I really liked thinking about this as a parallel with my favorite film from last year, I Saw the TV Glow, which obviously has a lot more in it about the allegory for the trans experience and so many other things in it. But I found the similarities in like art being there for you in a moment where you're at your lowest or when trauma takes over, all those different things. And the director handles it in a way where I feel like the comedy doesn't feel insensitive to the subject matter. It just feels like moments in life. And there's obviously some absurdist stuff in here that will make you laugh. That's just kind of Kyle Moody's shtick, is that he really likes to, get a visceral reaction out of you through his comedy. And I was appreciating any of the moments that comedy was included in this, and to give you a little bit of levity in the moments where things felt heavier. And I was very appreciative of that. And I think it also has a really beautiful core message about family and friendship and people just helping you overcome trauma and overcome those moments where you're at your lowest. And it's a really like warm movie. Like I just was smiling through most of it. There was a couple moments that almost made me tear up, but I felt like it was a really well made, well executed, funny, heartwarming, and thoughtful movie that I didn't expect to get that much out of. I knew that it was going to be an enjoyable experience, but I wasn't expecting to get that much out of it, which is what made it such a fun ride overall. And I'm really glad that I finally sat down and watched this, because it's a movie that I could see myself revisiting quite a bit in the future. And I think if you've never seen this before and you're interested in checking it out at all, I would 100% recommend it. Have you seen Brigsby Bear? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was incredible. I actually really loved it a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.